All right, we're about to pull back the curtain on one of the biggest secrets in music history. A really simple trick that gives rock its signature sound. I mean, really think about it for a second. That driving, energetic, just massive sound that makes you want to move. Well, what if I told you it all comes down to something incredibly simple? Something you could learn in like 2 minutes. You see, the secret is a special kind of chord. It's not complicated, it's not fancy, but it is the absolute foundation of rock music. Let's break it down. And here it is, the power chord. So while most chords have 3 or more notes, a power chord strips it all down to just 2 essential ones: the starting note, which we call the root, and the 5th note of its scale. Think of it like this. If you're just counting from 1 to 8, you're playing note number 1 and note number 5. That's it. Simple, right? Now, this slide really shows the key difference. Regular chords, like major or minor chords, they have a 3rd note in them. And that 3rd note is what gives the chord all its emotion. It's what makes it sound either happy or sad. But power chords, they just get rid of that 3rd note completely. The result is a sound that's neither happy nor sad. It's just strong, totally neutral, and super clean. Okay, so we know what it is, but why does this simple little 2-note combo sound so huge? Let's crack the code on this thing. First off, a quick look at the name. Remember how it's made of the root note and the 5th note? Well, because of that, a lot of musicians just call it a 5 chord. So if you ever see something like C5 or G5 written down in a songbook, you know exactly what that means. Play the C note and its 5th, or the G note and its 5th. No 3rd note necessary. So here's why that's so important. Taking out that 3rd note is exactly what gives the chord its power. It creates this really stable, open sound. And because there are only 2 main notes, there's nothing to get cluttered or muddy, which is a huge deal when you turn up the volume. It is the definition of lean and mean. And speaking of turning up the volume, there's another key ingredient to that classic rock sound: distortion. And it turns out distortion and power chords are pretty much a match made in heaven. So what even is distortion? Well, it's that awesome effect you hear on electric guitars that takes a totally clean sound and just makes it gritty, fuzzy, and way more aggressive. It adds a ton of energy and attitude. But here's the catch. If you try to play a full major or minor chord, with its 3 or more notes, through a distorted amp, all those different notes just start clashing with each other. They interfere, and the whole thing turns into a messy, noisy blur. It's just mud. And this slide shows the brilliant solution. The power chord, with its super simple 2-note structure, just slices right through that distortion. The notes don't clash at all, they stay totally clear, defined, and incredibly powerful. This is exactly how rock bands create that massive wall of sound that's super heavy, but you can still hear every single note. Okay, that's enough theory. The best part about power chords is just how easy they are to play. So let's turn you into a rock guitarist right now. All right, here's the only shape you need to know. First, put your index finger on any note on one of the 2 thickest strings. That's your root. Now, take your ring finger and place it on the string right next to it, but 2 frets higher up the neck. 2 of those metal bars. That's your 5th. The key is to kind of mute the other strings with the side of your finger so they don't ring out, and then just strum it. That's it. That is the sound. And here is the absolute game changer. That one shape you just learned, it's completely movable. You can slide that exact same hand position anywhere on the guitar's neck, and every single time you move it, you're playing a brand new power chord. You don't have to learn dozens of complicated shapes. You just learn one. Want to sound even better? Try out these pro tips. For that tight, chugging rhythm sound, just rest the side of your picking hand on the strings right near the guitar's body. We call that palm muting. Also, practice sliding that shape smoothly between frets, and maybe use a metronome to help build up your speed with perfect timing. Now, this simple chord isn't just some beginner's trick. It literally changed the course of music history and became an essential tool for musicians absolutely everywhere. So back in the 50s, players started cranking up their amps and discovered these simple 2-note chords sounded way better than full chords when you push them to the limit. Fast forward to the 70s, and it was the sound of rock and roll. And today, it's everywhere. And I seriously mean everywhere. Of course, you'll hear it all over rock, metal, and punk, but if you listen closely, you'll find power chords adding some weight and energy to pop songs, alternative tracks, and even some country music. Because it doesn't sound happy or sad, its neutral vibe makes it one of the most versatile tools in all of music. So let's bring it all back to this. 1. That is the number of hand shapes you need to learn to unlock the entire fretboard and start playing hundreds, if not thousands, of your favorite songs. It is truly that simple. And this is really why it matters. For anyone who's just starting out, the power chord is the perfect first step. It gives you an immediate, rewarding sound that just builds your confidence right away. It helps you develop finger strength, coordination, making it so much easier to tackle more complex stuff later on. It just makes learning fun. So now you know the code. You have the secret weapon that powers so much of the music we love. The only question left is, what song are you going to play first?